It's such an uneasy time to be alive, isn't it? Between what's happening in the world, it feels like the ground is shifting everywhere. And I find myself jumping around between wanting to look away because it's just too much, but also feeling like I have to keep watching and keep caring and keep my heart and eyes wide open. So let's do that, but lower the bar to make it easier to process. I've read a book that's been helping me process how I feel when it comes to this. It's This Earth of Mankind, and it's original titled Bumi Manusia by Pramudia Anantatur, an Indonesian writer who spent years as a political prisoner. And he wrote this book from memory while being in prison. He told stories to other prisoners before he could write them down. It's set in colonial Indonesia, early 1900s, and it follows a young Javanese man, Minke, who's getting a Dutch education and slowly waking up to how deeply unjust everything around him is. What struck me reading this now is how much it mirrors what we're seeing everywhere. Minka goes through this awakening, he starts to see the system clearly, but of course, individual awakening alone is not enough. Understanding the problem does not dismantle the structures keeping it in place. There's this character, Nya Yontasoro, probably one of the most powerful characters I've encountered. She is a woman with no formal power in colonial society, but she runs an entire state with more dignity and intelligence than any of the other Dutch officials around her. She cannot change the system, but she refuses to be diminished by it. She demonstrates that another way of being is possible even when systemic change seems impossible. And that's what I see in activism right now in the world. People who aren't expecting immediate victory, but who are laying the groundwork and refusing to accept that this is just how things have to be. Honestly, I kind of find myself in a position like Minka. I'm educated enough to see problems clearly and privileged enough to have distance from it. And that kind of brings up uncomfortable questions. What does it mean to be complicit in systems we claim to oppose? And what's our responsibility when we have the luxury of distance? I don't have the answer for that. The book doesn't have it either. This Art of Mankind ends without resolution. The injustices are exposed, consciousness is raised, but the structure remains intact. And at first, it's so frustrating to me, but I realized Pramudia is being so realistic about the timescales required for such fundamental change. And the protesters today are writing the next chapter of that story. And what they've already done is breaking the illusion that these systems are inevitable. Maybe that's how all fundamental change begins, with enough people refusing to pretend everything is fine. So, this is an invitation to keep our heart and eyes wide open anyway. Let's do our due diligence, whatever that looks like for us. Maybe read, maybe paying attention, maybe showing up when we can. Insist on bearing witness. Sometimes bravery just kind of looks like refusing to look away.